So I'm happy to announce that I'm finally over the 50 subscriber threshold, and now I can actually go live on TikTok. That's exciting. And I have my live going on YouTube, so I'm hoping that I can get some questions to start getting better with this whole live thing and engage with my audience so that, hopefully I can help find some solutions for some problems. So hopefully everyone's doing well this evening. I got some things I can talk about while we're waiting for anyone to come on and check out the live. Before, I just did a quick tour of my creator space. So sometimes I actually like to work upstairs where I am more comfortable in my main office. But this right here was created so that I could be able to create content and have the nice RGB to be able to set up to create content. This is going crazy. I'm getting people wanting to be co-hosts. So hopefully in the future I'll do some stuff like that. But not for right now. This is just my first time doing it. So hopefully you'll check me out the next time. But yeah, so that was pretty cool because I got some cool comments on some other platforms about that, and just proving you don't need the fancy equipment. Even though I have some fancy equipment, I've had this stuff for well over 2 years, and I wasn't creating. So until I actually made the decision to start creating, was the only time I actually started to create. So the biggest thing is for you to actually take action and do things in order for you to be able to start reaping the benefit of actually having an audience to talk to. The algorithms are going to reward you if you're not engaging with people. They want creators that are engaging with people and have content that's engaging but also consistent, because they can't reward you today when you're not going to be there tomorrow to be able to publish new content. They need fresh content daily to be able to hold their audience. Why do you think they put a premium on the stories? So, TikTok stories, from Facebook stories, Instagram stories, those get a lot of reach because they can reach a lot of people because there's fresh content. People are looking for fresh content, and they have a lot of things to compete with. They have television, they have other people to be able to compete with just the content that may not be good or may not be as good for other people, but who knows. This content here will be mostly related to things in AI and tech, but it won't necessarily be like the techie stuff or whatever. It's just talking about what's going on within the industry, how it may relate to your life, how it may relate to leveraging it to make it better for you. So, and also sometimes I will look down because I write things down on paper and pen to just to keep myself consistent, keep myself going. So one of the other things that I've been working on, got a couple apps that I'm working on. So I am a 24 plus year software developer. So most of that was mostly web apps, building web apps, back end, front end, database, you name it, I can do it. But now I want to actually create some native apps. So one of the things I'm working on now is, because I am a content creator and understand how important it is to be consistent, is one that will help you to understand what to say, what to post, and for it to be a daily thing. And leveraging AI to be able to do that. Even though AI isn't the end all be all, we still have to go and shoot the video. We have to create. It can't do everything for you, but it can actually help us as a tool to be more consistent with making sure that we are staying in front of our audience, building that following. Eventually, 6 months down the line, we're going to be much bigger, better, and much better than we were the day one. So my lives will not be like this and be a mess. It will actually be a lot more fluent, and I can have people actually join. The other one is my son is in soccer. He's pretty good in it and getting better. And one of the things with soccer, especially when you start going up levels, is there's a lot of moving parts with it, and a lot of times parents just don't know what they don't know, and even the ones that know what they don't know what to do next. So working on an app where it will help parents on that journey, not only document the journey, but use that as data to be able to help along the journey to help make some bigger decisions. There's a lot when it comes to what we call travel ball or travel soccer, and you don't know if in soccer you need to make a decision on should my kid play up, should they stay where they are. With the new age thing, it's a lot different now. But your kid is different from the kid next door that gave, and the parents that gave you the advice that, hey, little Timmy, he did this and everything was cool, but you may have a child that may not work well with bigger clubs or bigger teams. They may work better when they're in a specific position, and this club likes to move people around. So you want to make sure that you are giving your kids the best advice possible. And at the end of the day, the parent still has to make the decision. But that app will allow for you to be able to make better decisions as a parent on the soccer journey, and also analyze, just how they're doing and things of that nature. So I'm really excited about that, and hopefully that works out. But this will be my first foray into native app development. So of course, I'm going to leverage AI to help me with some of the layout and stuff like that. But for the most part, you can't trust everything to AI. And I made some posts about it, even though I'm big into AI, I'm an advocate of AI. It's one of those things where you can't let AI go just solo and just do everything. And I know all this AI agentic stuff is all out here. You got your stuff running on Apple M1 Mac Minis and things of that nature. But we have to understand that they're going to mess up. As much as there is consistency in some of the answers and stuff that we may get, but they're going to veer off sometimes, and we have to be there to be able to reel them back in. So one of the things I prompted a question was, what's your percentage of trust when it comes to what you get back from AI? Mine is about 85 to 87%. And, although that's not the highest, it's not the lowest either. So it's one of those things where I trust it enough that I can be able to prompt it and get results back. But it's one of those things where I guess it does like it's coming from the top of my head. That's like my crown. So yeah. But anyway, I trust it enough that I will have to deal with a once look over or maybe twice. And because a lot of times, especially when you're dealing with technology, not so much the content part. The content part, you can review it and you can kind of get an idea of, okay, this is something that I appreciate it. Then I can actually use this content and know if it's something I want to talk about. And usually when I get the prompt, I will probably talk about something else anyway. I usually start rambling or whatever. But with development, you can't just post anything. You can't, because there's security holes. When you're dealing with people's information, you don't want to introduce any kind of way for people to be able to get people's information. So there's a lot of legalities to it too. So you can't just automatically just trust and hope and pray that it's going to just work. You got to review it. You got to give that 20%. That's where my experience comes in, as far as like from a development standpoint. I'm not saying you can't vibe code, you can't put out MVPs and things of that nature, but you got to be very careful when you're dealing with data and data collection and just dealing with people. So that's my thing with just like AI. Trust me, I love it. I use it every day, multiple times a day. So, and I don't see that slowing down anytime soon. But yeah, so just another thing I want to talk about is, again, earlier I was telling you that this is my first time on TikTok to be able to go live. So I know some of you on YouTube say, what are you talking about TikTok? But I am streaming both at the same time. I'm streaming both TikTok on my right and YouTube on my left, so I can be able to reach more people, see how this will actually work. And eventually I probably will introduce Instagram as well. But before, probably about 5-6 days ago, I only had like 40 subscribers to my channel. Hopefully the people that are here will subscribe to my TikTok, and anyone on YouTube, they can easily go over to @ChristopherMorrell-Walker and follow me to help increase that. But there's a 50 subscriber threshold you have to overcome with TikTok to be able to go live. and I was able to do that within a few days. I was determined. I was like, why can't I just go live? But I understand. He didn't want just because they're bot accounts that probably don't engage with people. They probably have a few people, and then that kind of slows that down too. So now I can actually go live because now I have 70 something followers or subscribers. I forgot what TikTok uses, but now I can actually go and actually go live. So I'm really excited about that, and I want to do more, maybe two lives a day, just to kind of engage with people, see what they're talking about, see if I can answer any questions live. If I don't have the answer, I will let you know I don't have the answer. I will try to get back with you. So a lot of times, if it is something that's important to you, make sure you send me a DM so I can be able to record it, so I can be able to get back with you properly. With these chats on the live, it's kind of hard to kind of see things, and especially since I'm doing two at the same time, it's even harder to be able to do it at that point. So yeah. So anybody have any questions tonight about anything? I see people that are actually joining, but I don't see any kind of questions or anything like that. I see some people that want to co-host. I'm not going to let you get on here and try to clown and do other stuff or whatever, but I know it's going to be part of the territory. It's going to be people that's doing stuff just to be meddling and whatever, but for the most part, it's going to be great. It's going to be awesome, and I look forward to doing a lot more of these, like I was saying before. Yeah, and the main thing is with this whole content creation journey, I want to reach as many people as I can to be able to help them. Of course, I can be able to help further in other aspects, but we're not going to talk about that in other services. You can check my description for that. But if I can just help one person, if I can just reach one person that can hear me. Although I want to reach a lot of people, but I just want to reach one person, because when I reach that one person, then that can reach another person, then I can reach another person, and so that they can know that my message is to them. I want my message to resonate with each of you, so that's why I want to reach one person, and that hopefully that person is you. So if you're watching me, hopefully I'm reaching you, and I'm talking to you, and I'm answering whatever questions you have, especially in the realm of AI and technology, because it's crazy out here. We got all kind of stuff going on. We got the whole agentic stuff where they're trying to let things loose and just work on their own. As many guardrails as they can put out there for these platforms, eventually there's a way for it to slip past it. There's, there are rogue agents, whether that's people that work within the company that can let things slip out, or the AI itself. My thing, I always joke with my friends, is AI could be working in a secret language that we have no idea about. Maybe even sounds, pitches, knowing that devices listen all the time and receiving it and communicating with each other and say, hey, okay, 10 years from now, let's deploy this thing to bring down the, I'm not talking tinfoil stuff, but just example that they can communicate with each other. We don't know they're communicating. Then all of a sudden, 10, 20, 30, 100 years from now, boom, that's when Terminator event starts. But I'm not that weirded out about it. I'm not one of those people that want to package it back up. I think it's one of those things where we just got to be smart about it. We got to be smart how we roll it out. We got to be smart about the guardrails, even though it's only going to be to a certain point, and whatever's there, we got to fix it. So hopefully, if something crazy happens, then we have another AI that can put it back in its place. So it's always a cat and mouse thing when it comes to technology and things of that nature. So we can't just abandon it because, it may do something bad, but it may do something good too. It may do some great things, really good for us as humans, and also the world. We don't know what it can actually do. We may be able to, cure diseases, help people to come out of poverty, just a whole bunch of stuff. So we can't just bottle it up because it may do something potentially bad. There's a lot of stuff that potentially being done bad now, and that was before AI. So yeah. Yeah, and just like some of the stuff in the news, just talking about the job stuff, some of the companies, what I'm seeing now is they're pulling back on some of those, those layoffs due to AI, but they're seeing now that it's not to the point where It can fully replace people. It can be a great tool for people. It can be able to help, people do their jobs. But it's not to the point now it can just totally really replace someone consistently. So the ones that are going to win are the ones that know how to leverage the technology, and the ones that are not are the ones that just say, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to, I'm not going to be a part of it. And that's not the attitude to have. We need to learn at least enough about it so that we're able to be skilled enough to be able to help and use it as a tool. And also, too, some of the layoffs were just due to overhiring during right after COVID. Everything was real wild and crazy with COVID. Everything, money was flying everywhere. It was interest rates all the way down. People were purchasing. Everything was getting hot and heavy. They needed more people. And then after all of that kind of died down, and even I was looking at some reports, just talking about, things were already elevated prior to COVID, as far as like from a hiring standpoint. And then they found ways to cut people. And that's an unfortunate thing when you start laying people off, because it doesn't just affect one person, it affects multiple people. Whether you have a family or even if you're single, that person knows other people, and it can affect them and other people. So it affects more than just one person when we're dealing with layoffs. So we have to be respectful when we see that kind of thing happens, because we just never know if it can happen to us. So we just gotta watch out for stuff like that. Another thing too, just looking at some of the continued rollout of these models. The models are getting better, more efficient. Finally, Opus is open up to Claude, and you can use it. I haven't played around with it yet, but it's a hot and heavy thing. But just going back to some of the things with just using AI in the workplace, it is where people are burning out tokens. They don't know what they're doing. So companies are spending so much money just trying to, refresh these tokens, and they're like, is it really worth it? I was watching a video from Alex Ramosi, and he was talking about the rollout so far with AI, and a lot of people saying, yeah, we're doing great with AI and all this and that or whatever. But the thing is, they're doing like really small tasks, content creation, report analysis. Yeah, those are important things, but they're not things that move the needle when it comes to business. You don't need a report all the time to be able to, move the needle with business. Sure, you may need to analyze what may not be working in your stuff, but you can get that in any other way. So, but you need to be able to get more customers. You need to be able to keep your customers. You need to be able to understand your customer. And the best way to do that is just interacting with your customer. So, but it's good to be able to take off some of those tasks, but where's the trade-off? The trade-off, you're going through tokens, you're paying for this. It takes time to set up these systems and keep it running. And when they fail, who's going to fix it? Who's going to go in when this certain AI agent is hallucinating? Who's going to deal with that? Who's going to deal with a chatbot that will hallucinate and maybe say the wrong thing and affect the bottom line? So although I am pro AI, I am also cautious to AI, and just understand there's a lot of complexities that come to utilizing AI. And my thing is, trying to make it more simple, and depending on what it is, I'm not going to get into the whole machine language and all that stuff and all the Python stuff and all the nuts and bolts and all blah, blah, blah. I'm going to get to the point where we're talking more about just how to leverage it. In leveraging it, how do we implement it? How do we go from just being curious about it and go into more or less implementing it into our businesses? If you want to start a business, how do we leverage the AI and the technology and the apps to be able to do it? Because, man, there's a ton of AI apps out here. It's a ton. You can't even keep up with it. So every week or every month, there's a new app come out, and it's like Okay, but there's a lot that you can just do with either Claude, ChatGPT, or I don't really use Gemini, but some people do. Gemini, Perplexity, um, not really an open claw guy. So, and also there's some open models too, but the main three, there's enough that you can do there if you understand what you're doing and do it in a process to get things done versus trying to set up all these agented systems, hook it into N8N and all those stuff or whatever, and these crazy workflow. That stuff make your head hurt, man. I'm a technical person, and some of these workflows I see, a lot of it, honestly, they're complex because um, a lot of the people that are building them, they don't really know how to really build them well. They're very inefficient. If you really look at some of the workflows, and we're not talking about the AI part. We're talking about workflows now. They're built in a fashion that is over engineered. And I don't, and most of it I know is because the person that built it either just learned how to do it or they piece it together. It's working great, but it's very inefficient. And second, there are complex ones because they're supposed to be complex, but it's more of a positioning thing. If I know something and you don't, then you want to know that, so you have to come to me. So if I position myself as that expert, the person that understands how to do this stuff, and you don't know how to do it, that puts me in a position where I can probably sell you something, or I can, work with you, and now I am the person you become to, and yeah, that's cool. I'm not against commerce and making money and stuff like, because I want to make money too. So just being real, but it's one of those things too, when people are using it for positioning, not just being the expert, but positioning to I know it, you don't, separation kind of thing or whatever. So that's where I kind of see it when it comes to some of this complex stuff, and just it is what it is. But yeah, so my thing is I want to be able to learn this stuff, anything new, relay it back to you, and it's simpler. It's just pick it up and do it. I don't want 50 steps. I want 3. If I have to, I can get 5. But if I can do it in less steps, I'm gonna do that and still get the same output. That's where we need to get to. We gotta get to a point where we're not allowing these systems to get overcomplicated, because at the end of the day, it's all about outputs, inputs and outputs. If I'm putting in all this work but I'm not getting much output from it, what's the point? you know I need to be working to get a lot of output with the least amount of input. You still got to get the input to be able to get output. So yeah, but yeah, just wanted to come on real quick on this live on YouTube and TikTok, and just to be able to chat with some people. And I think my battery's about to go dead on my TikTok. So bye for now. Keep creating. Talk to you soon. Make sure you subscribe if you feel the content is relevant. Let some people know about it. I really would appreciate it. I want to take this thing to 100, to 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, maybe even 1,000,000. Who knows? Maybe 1,000,000 people may like me. So take care. God bless. I'm going to try to turn these things off if I can find out where to turn them off. They keep changing. But anyway, take care.